Earth, a small blue jewel spinning in the void, thrived as a testament to life's beauty. Unlike many sterile, conquered planets in the galaxy, Earth buzzed with music, laughter, and stories, its cultures weaving a vibrant tapestry that fascinated even the most distant travelers. Here, people lived and dreamed, unaware of the brutal indifference of a galaxy ruled by an empire that valued obedience over individuality, order over freedom. Ellie was the embodiment of everything Earth cherished. With her boundless curiosity and laughter as bright as the sun, she played in the fields of her peaceful village, her loyal dog chasing her every step. Her parents, simple farmers, watched from a distance, hearts warmed by her joy. Life seemed endless in its simplicity, but it was a quiet moment before the storm. The Galactic Empire's patrol ship arrived without warning, a dark silhouette casting an ominous shadow over the village. The Empire's policies of planetary subjugation demanded occasional displays of dominance, and today, Earth's remote region had been chosen. Ellie, curious as always, approached the ship too closely. Perhaps the soldiers mistook her small frame for a threat, or perhaps they simply didn't care. In the blink of an eye, a burst of energy shot from their weapon. She fell. Her parents ran to her, their screams piercing the stunned silence. Villagers gathered, their faces frozen in disbelief as Ellie's lifeless body lay cradled in her father's arms. No one could fathom what had just happened. The patrol ship's captain, watching the unfolding tragedy, issued a curt message. Collateral damage. Resume compliance. Then the ship ascended, leaving devastation in its wake. News of Ellie's death spread like wildfire. Her image, a bright-eyed child with an infectious smile, became the face of Earth's growing despair. Broadcasts replayed the footage endlessly, her parents' anguish, the soldiers' cold retreat, and the haunting quiet of the village that had lost its light. Grief rippled across nations, uniting people in sorrow. The Empire, untouched by Earth's protests, dismissed the incident. To them, Earth was just another planet on the outskirts of their vast domain. A few angry broadcasts from a primitive species were irrelevant to their iron grip on the galaxy. But humanity refused to forget. Ellie's death became a symbol, her story igniting something dormant within Earth's people. Protests erupted in every major city, not just in anger but in determination. The tragedy transcended political divides and national boundaries. For the first time in decades, humanity began speaking with one voice. As Earth grieved, whispers of hope began to surface. Beneath the surface of despair lay something the Empire could not have anticipated: Earth's hidden potential. Long constrained by fear of galactic retaliation, humanity's scientists and strategists had quietly advanced technologies beyond the Empire's comprehension. The leaders of major nations, once locked in endless rivalries, began secret discussions, recognizing the need for unity. The United Earth Coalition was born, a body forged not out of ambition but necessity. It wasn't just Ellie's story that drove them. It was the realization that humanity could not afford to remain silent any longer. Across the globe, people mobilized, their focus sharpened by a shared purpose. Engineers and scientists dusted off secret projects, from energy-based weapons to deep space ships once considered too provocative to develop openly. Humanity, underestimated for centuries, began preparing for something far greater than itself. Ellie's image was everywhere now, a mural on the side of a skyscraper, a child's drawing in a school, a candlelit vigil in a remote town. Her story wasn't just about loss, it was about defiance. Earth, a seemingly insignificant planet, was no longer willing to bow. A spark had ignited, one that would burn brighter than anyone in the galaxy could have anticipated. The world grieved, but grief soon turned to action. Streets flooded with protests, millions carrying candles, signs, and Ellie's now iconic image. From bustling metropolises to isolated towns, humanity's collective voice rose in a roar of defiance. Never again! The chant echoed, as people demanded more than empty words, they demanded justice. The momentum was impossible to ignore, even for the most cynical of leaders. For centuries, humanity had been its own worst enemy, divided by politics, borders, and mistrust. But Ellie's death had shattered those barriers. Presidents, prime ministers, and dictators alike convened in emergency summits, their egos set aside in the face of an undeniable truth. The galaxy saw Earth as weak, fragmented, disposable. That had to change. The formation of the United Earth Coalition marked a turning point. Skeptics doubted the alliance could hold, but the UEC wasn't built on lofty ideals, it was forged in necessity. President Arjun Malik emerged as a unifying figure. Known for his pragmatic leadership, Malik wasn't one for theatrics, but his speeches struck a chord. Ellie's death wasn't just a tragedy, he told the Assembly of World Leaders. It was a test. And we will prove to the galaxy that humanity is not just a species. We are a force. Beside him stood General Naomi Tanaka, a war strategist who had spent her life preparing for threats Earth had always feared but never faced. Tanaka had lost her own daughter to violence years before, and Ellie's story reignited a fire within her. They think we're weak because we mourn, she said during her first address. But mourning isn't weakness. Mourning is fuel. The UEC immediately began mobilizing resources. What the public didn't know was that Earth had been quietly preparing for years. Despite treaties and galactic oversight, humanity had always harbored a deep unease about its place in the universe. Research labeled as civilian had secretly pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Now, those secrets came to light. In hidden facilities, engineers unveiled spacecraft bristling with innovations the galaxy hadn't yet imagined. Advanced artificial intelligences, designed to outthink even the most sophisticated alien systems, were deployed to coordinate Earth's response. Directed energy weapons, once shelved out of fear of provoking the Empire, were brought online. The scale of human ingenuity, long stifled by fear, now surged forward with purpose. The story of Earth's suppressed potential became public knowledge. Scientists who had been forced to hide their breakthroughs spoke out, their anger at the Empire's oppressive shadow fueling humanity's determination. "They've been holding us back for generations," one researcher said. "Not anymore." But even as humanity prepared, the Empire dismissed Earth's efforts. Galactic broadcasts mocked the fledgling UC, portraying humanity as an arrogant species punching far above its weight. Imperial leaders issued condescending statements, warning Earth against rash actions, while continuing to downplay Ellie's death as insignificant. Within the Empire, however, cracks began to show. Some alien societies, themselves living under imperial rule, watched Earth's awakening with quiet sympathy. Stories of humanity's grief and defiance resonated with those who had suffered similar losses. In secret gatherings, these factions debated whether Earth's struggle could be the spark that ignited broader resistance. Others within the Empire, however, viewed humanity's rising ambition with dread. Whispers of Earth's technological advancements spread like wildfire, creating unease among imperial strategists. For all their bravado, they began to recognize that this small, unassuming planet might not be as insignificant as they believed. As Earth's preparations intensified, a discovery sent shockwaves through the UC. Buried in ancient texts and artifacts, researchers uncovered evidence of an energy source unlike anything seen before, a relic from Earth's distant past, predating recorded history. Theories emerged. Could this be why the Empire had kept Earth under such tight scrutiny? Was it fear, not indifference, that had driven their oppression? The details were kept secret, but rumors spread among UC leadership. Whatever this ancient power was, it might be the key to tipping the scales. President Malik ordered an immediate investigation, knowing that time was running out. Humanity was no longer just fighting for justice, it was fighting for survival. The Empire's mockery continued, but for the first time, a note of unease crept into their rhetoric. Earth wasn't retreating, wasn't backing down. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, but soon, it would learn the truth. The Empire's fleet arrived in Earth's orbit with a precision meant to terrify. Dozens of massive warships, their hulls gleaming with the Imperial insignia, positioned themselves in an overwhelming display of force. The message was clear: Earth's rebellion was nothing more than a minor inconvenience, easily quashed. Broadcasts from the Empire's flagship echoed across the planet's communication networks. "This is a gesture of peace," announced the Imperial commander, his tone dripping with disdain. Earth's compliance is non-negotiable. Any further defiance will be met with consequences beyond your comprehension. But Earth did not respond with fear. Instead, the United Earth Coalition replied with silence. The UC's leaders had anticipated this move and prepared for it. General Tanaka stood in the Central Command Center of Earth's defensive headquarters, her gaze fixed on the holographic projections of the Empire's fleet. She gave the order with unwavering calm. Activate all systems. We will show them what defiance truly looks like. The Empire's fleet held orbit, expecting a panic surrender. Instead, Earth's response came in the form of a coordinated mobilization of its hidden space fleet. Ships launched from silos across the globe, piercing the atmosphere in disciplined formations. The vessels were smaller than the Empire's behemoths, but their sleek, unconventional designs hinted at innovation rather than brute force. As the ships took position, the standoff began. The Empire's commander, visibly amused by the sight of humanity's comparatively meager force, issued one final warning. You cannot possibly believe this will end well for you. Stand down, and perhaps your planet might yet endure. Earth's fleet remained silent, holding formation. The tension was palpable, every second stretching longer than the last. Then, without warning, the Empire's fleet opened fire. The Battle of Seoul erupted in a dazzling cacophony of light and motion. Imperial warships, relying on overwhelming firepower, unleashed devastating salvos aimed to annihilate Earth's resistance in a single stroke. But humanity had anticipated this arrogance. Earth's ships dispersed in coordinated chaos, breaking into smaller groups that seemed disorganized but moved with calculated precision. Decoy drones projected holographic duplicates of Earth's vessels, confusing the Empire's targeting systems. As Imperial ships adjusted to the misdirection, they found themselves drawn into asteroid fields where humanity's fleet had laid traps. Asteroids rigged with explosive charges detonated in proximity to the Empire's ships, their shields flickering under the unexpected assault. At the same time, swarms of unmanned drones, each equipped with experimental weaponry, surged toward the larger vessels. The drones exploited blind spots in the Empire's defensive grids, targeting weak points with surgical accuracy. General Tanaka monitored the battlefield from her command station, issuing rapid orders to adapt to the shifting tides of combat. Her strategy wasn't just about firepower. It was about making the Empire fight on Earth's terms. Force them to chase us, she said calmly. Their size is their weakness. As the battle raged, humanity's ingenuity shone. One squadron of Earth's ships used advanced hacking systems to infiltrate the Empire's communications, causing chaos among their ranks. Another deployed experimental plasma weapons that bypassed traditional shielding, dealing devastating blows to ships that had previously seemed invulnerable. The Empire's fleet, unprepared for such unorthodox tactics, began to falter. Their commanders had underestimated Earth's capacity to innovate, their arrogance blinding them to the reality of the battle. For the first time, they faced an opponent who wasn't just fighting for survival but for justice, for a cause that burned brighter than any weapon. Amid the chaos, acts of heroism became the heart of the conflict. A young pilot, barely out of training, sacrificed his ship to destroy a key Imperial destroyer, opening a critical gap in their formation. On the ground, engineers worked frantically to keep Earth systems running, knowing that even a momentary lapse could tip the balance. Despite Earth's successes, the battle came at a cost. Imperial ships, though disoriented, still possessed immense firepower. Entire squadrons of Earth's fleet were lost in devastating counterattacks. Civilians in orbital habitats watched in horror as debris rained down from the heavens, a grim reminder of the stakes. Hours stretched into what felt like days, the battle pushing both sides to their limits. Finally, humanity delivered a decisive blow. Using the cover of their drones and decoys, Earth's fleet launched a coordinated assault on the Empire's flagship. A barrage of plasma fire and experimental torpedoes overwhelmed its defenses, leaving it a smoldering wreck. With their flagship destroyed and their fleet in disarray, the remaining Imperial ships retreated, unable to maintain their dominance. Earth's forces, battered but unbroken, held the battlefield. For the first time in its history, humanity had stood against the might of the Empire, and won. The victory, however, was bittersweet. As celebrations erupted across Earth, the reality of the cost became clear. Thousands of lives had been lost, their sacrifices etched into the collective memory of the planet. Families mourned, and the names of the fallen were spoken with reverence. General Tanaka, addressing the world after the battle, captured the sentiment of the moment. "We have proven that humanity will not bow to tyranny," she said. "But this is only the beginning. The Empire will come again, and next time, they will not underestimate us. We must be ready." The Battle of Seoul marked a turning point, not just for Earth, but for the galaxy. Humanity had shown that it could defy the impossible, that it could rise to meet even the most overwhelming odds. The Empire, once seen as invincible, now knew fear. The stakes had never been higher, but neither had humanity's resolve. The war escalated rapidly after the Battle of Seoul, transforming Earth from a defiant outlier into a central player in the galaxy's most significant conflict. The United Earth Coalition, emboldened by its initial success, shifted from defensive strategies to a campaign of tactical strikes. Humanity, long underestimated, now wielded its resilience and ingenuity as weapons against the Empire's monolithic might. Recognizing that the Empire's rule was built on fear and division, Earth sought alliances with alien factions suffering under the same tyranny. Quiet envoys ventured into the shadowed corners of the galaxy, meeting with leaders of oppressed species. Some, like the resolute Arendori of the gas planet Fenris, joined willingly, inspired by humanity's boldness. Others required persuasion, their trust eroded by centuries of betrayal. These alliances bore fruit. Coordinated strikes targeted the Empire's vulnerable supply chains, destabilizing critical outposts across key sectors. Small, nimble fleets conducted daring raids, disrupting trade routes and seizing valuable resources. The Empire, accustomed to obedience, struggled to counter humanity's guerrilla-like tactics. In these early victories, Earth's strength became apparent. It wasn't the size of its fleet or the power of its weapons, it was adaptability. Imperial commanders, reliant on rigid hierarchies, found themselves outmaneuvered by human strategists who thrived on unpredictability. General Tanaka led operations from mobile command ships, her team analyzing every possible variable to outthink their adversaries. But the Empire was far from defeated. Realizing it had underestimated humanity's resolve, it deployed overwhelming forces in retaliation. Fleets larger than entire planetary populations descended upon Earth's allies, their massive dreadnoughts blotting out stars. These battles were catastrophic, entire star systems engulfed in fire as the Empire sought to reassert its dominance. Humanity's ingenuity was tested to its limits. In one skirmish, an Imperial armada cornered Earth's fleet near the dense nebula of Osiris-7. Using the nebula's ionized gases to mask their movements, Earth's ships conducted a daring ambush, disabling key Imperial vessels with precision strikes. The victory was hard-won, but it showcased humanity's ability to turn even disadvantageous terrain into a weapon. Amid the chaos, Earth revealed its trump card, the Soul Lance. Powered by the ancient energy source discovered on Earth, the superweapon was capable of unleashing focused energy bursts that could obliterate entire fleets. The Soul Lance became a symbol of hope for humanity and its allies, a reminder that even the smallest world could hold the means to challenge an empire. Yet the war was not without betrayal. One alien faction, the Zethari, initially pledged their support to Earth but secretly aligned with the Empire, selling intelligence that led to the catastrophic loss of an entire Allied fleet. The betrayal struck deeply, forcing Earth's leadership to confront the harsh realities of intergalactic diplomacy. Trust, it seemed, was a weapon as dangerous as any laser or missile. This setback tested the fragile alliances Earth had built. Some alien leaders questioned humanity's ability to lead, while others used the incident to press for greater control in the coalition. President Malik and General Tanaka worked tirelessly to mend the fractures, emphasizing that unity was their only path to survival. "The Empire thrives on our division," Malik reminded them. "If we falter now, we ensure their victory." Cultural exchanges between humans and their alien allies deepened during this time, creating bonds that transcended the war. Soldiers from vastly different worlds learned to fight alongside one another, sharing traditions, stories, and strategies. The Arandori taught humans the art of shadow tactics, using minimal resources to achieve maximum impact. In turn, humans shared their history of resistance, inspiring their allies with tales of triumph against impossible odds. The war's turning point came during the Battle of Vega Prime. The Empire, desperate to crush the rebellion, deployed one of its largest fleets, aiming to destroy Earth's growing coalition in a single, decisive blow. Earth and its allies, outnumbered and outgunned, prepared for what many feared would be their final stand. The battle was a symphony of chaos, starships weaving intricate dances of destruction. Earth's fleet, supported by alien allies, executed a daring plan to lure the Empire's forces into a trap. Using holographic decoys and hit-and-run tactics, they created the illusion of retreat, drawing the Imperial fleet into the dense asteroid fields surrounding Vega Prime. There, the Soul Lance awaited. Hidden within the shadow of a massive asteroid, the weapon charged its energy core as Earth's forces bought precious time. When the Imperial fleet was fully committed, the Soul Lance unleashed its power, a beam of light that tore through the enemy's ships like a vengeful god's wrath. The Empire, caught off guard, suffered devastating losses. Yet even with the Soul Lance's power, the battle was far from easy. Earth's forces endured heavy casualties, every victory paid for in blood. Pilots pushed their ships to the breaking point, and soldiers fought in brutal skirmishes on the asteroid fields. In the battle's final moments, General Tanaka herself led a desperate charge to disable the Empire's command vessel. With her ship battered and on the brink of destruction, she orchestrated a risky maneuver, ramming the vessel's control deck and crippling its coordination capabilities. The maneuver turned the tide, forcing the remnants of the Imperial fleet to retreat. The victory at Vega Prime was narrow but transformative. For the first time, the galaxy saw the Empire bleed. News of the battle spread, inspiring new rebellions on distant worlds. Humanity and its allies had proven that even the mightiest oppressor could be defeated. Yet, the cost was staggering. Thousands of lives were lost, and the coalition's resources were stretched thin. General Tanaka, addressing the survivors, spoke with the gravity of one who had seen the toll of war firsthand. "We are not finished," she said. "Victory will not come easily, but it will come. Because we are more than soldiers, we are hope." The Galactic War was far from over, but the tide had turned. Humanity, once dismissed as insignificant, now stood as a symbol of defiance. The Empire, though wounded, remained a formidable foe. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: Earth and its allies would fight, not just for survival, but for a galaxy free from tyranny. The Allied fleet, a united force of humanity and dozens of alien species, arrived at the Empire's capital in a display of defiance that the galaxy would never forget. It was a sight no one had imagined possible. Species once divided by fear and hatred now stood shoulder to shoulder, their ships forming an unbroken wall of resistance. At its head was Earth's flagship, Resolute, leading the charge. The Emperor, a figure who had ruled for centuries with unchallenged authority, finally faced the reality of his empire's crumbling foundation. The fleet's presence was not just a military threat but a statement: the oppressed had risen, and they demanded justice. Despite the overwhelming odds against him, the Emperor refused to capitulate. "You think this display matters?" he declared through the Galactic broadcast network. "I am the Empire. I am eternal." The final confrontation was as much a battle of wills as it was of firepower. Earth's fleet spearheaded an assault on the Imperial defenses, their tactics honed by years of conflict. Meanwhile, diplomatic channels were kept open, Earth's leaders making one last effort to offer a chance for surrender. This dual approach was a calculated risk, one that reflected humanity's growing role as both warriors and peacemakers. As the Allied fleet began dismantling the Imperial blockade, President Malik addressed the galaxy. His broadcast wasn't aimed at the Emperor but at the billions of beings watching from every corner of the galaxy. "This isn't just about Earth," he said. It's about every world that has suffered under tyranny, every voice silenced, every life taken without cause. Today, we stand together, not as conquerors, but as a united galaxy demanding freedom. Within hours, the Imperial capital's defenses collapsed. The Emperor, now isolated and desperate, retreated to his citadel. The Allied forces could have easily stormed the stronghold, but instead, they chose a path that stunned the galaxy. A delegation of leaders, including President Malik and representatives from Allied species, approached the Emperor under a banner of truce. The delegation's entry into the Imperial citadel was tense, every step echoing with the weight of history. The Emperor, defiant to the last, sneered at their presence. "You think this changes anything? If you kill me, another will rise." In that moment, humanity faced its greatest test. There was a clear temptation among some leaders to exact retribution, to make the Emperor a symbol of vengeance for the countless lives destroyed under his rule. The debate among Earth's leadership was fierce, with even General Tanaka, typically pragmatic, advocating for swift justice. But Malik stood firm. "If we choose vengeance, we become the very thing we fought against," he argued. "Ellie's legacy, the legacy of every innocent life lost, demands something greater than retribution. It demands justice." The Emperor was removed peacefully, an act that sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Instead of executing him, the Allied leaders announced a galactic tribunal to hold him accountable for his crimes. This choice, though controversial, marked a turning point. Humanity had proven that strength wasn't just about force. It was about the courage to uphold one's principles, even in the face of unimaginable pain. With the Emperor's capture, the Empire collapsed like a house of cards. Systems long under its control declared independence, and the Allied fleet worked tirelessly to stabilize the chaos. Earth, now a respected and feared power, became a symbol of resilience and moral leadership. Its decision to balance strength with mercy inspired many, even as others remained wary of its newfound influence. Back on Earth, the war's end was marked by both celebration and reflection. Ellie's story, the spark that had ignited the rebellion, became a symbol of hope and justice. A galactic memorial was erected in her honor, its inscription written in the languages of every species that had joined the fight. Her parents, once simple villagers, stood at the dedication ceremony, their grief transformed into quiet pride. President Malik spoke at the memorial, his voice heavy with emotion. "Ellie was just one child. But her loss reminded us of every innocent life taken by tyranny. Today, we dedicate ourselves to ensuring that her story will never be repeated, not here, not on any world." In the aftermath, Earth and its allies began shaping a new galactic order. The UC transitioned from a wartime coalition to a diplomatic force, working to mediate conflicts and rebuild shattered worlds. Humanity's reputation as both a formidable force and a principled leader spread across the stars. But the scars of war remained. General Tanaka, now retired, visited the graves of her fallen soldiers, her resolve unshaken. "We've won the battle," she said to a young cadet. "But the war against tyranny never truly ends. That's the price of freedom." As the galaxy adjusted to its new reality, one thing was certain: humanity's legacy was forever changed. No longer a planet on the fringe, Earth had become a beacon of hope and justice, its resilience a testament to what could be achieved when the oppressed stood together. Ellie's story, the spark that had united a fractured galaxy, became a legend. Her name was spoken not with sorrow, but with reverence, a reminder of the power one small life could hold in shaping the destiny of millions.